Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2020-21 season. My name is Dan, and today we're doing another draft video. So you guys have asked for another draft video, so that's what I'm doing. I've updated my draft video quite a little bit actually since last time. There's been a few changes, transfers and the like that. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. And I think this will be my penultimate draft video, so I'll do one more final team selection video on Friday, but I don't know if this team will change that much between now and then. It might, but yeah, I'll do one more, but this is my penultimate team. So yeah, I hope you do enjoy today's video. Some of you may have noticed I've got a t-shirt that says Among on it. It's not as random as it looks. So yeah, if you look, it says Among the top 1% in FPL. Which this t-shirt was very, very kindly given to me by a little company called FPL Shirts. They do all kinds of different fantasy Premier League type slogan shirts, pictures on there, stuff like that. And since I came top 1% last season, they gave me this shirt and I thought that was pretty awesome. So go check them out if you fancy it. That's www.fplshirts.com. Easy as that. So speaking of becoming 1%, hopefully we can do a little bit better than top 1% this season. We can that can be the bare minimum. And we're going to start off by becoming in that top 1% again with this team. So let's have a look at it. So if you do enjoy sort of slightly graphically based, quite chatty FPL videos, please do consider subscribing. I'm almost at 20,000 subscribers, which has been my big goal for this pre-season. So I'm looking to get 20,000 subscribers by gameweek 1, and it looks like it could really happen, but I can only do that with your help. But let's have a look at this team. So we're going to start off in goal with Matt Ryan, who if you've watched my previous videos, you might remember that Matt Ryan was not in my team before it was McCarthy, but I've made the switch to Ryan. Now, a lot of you will immediately be looking at that and saying, well, look at those fixtures, they're not very good. We know Southampton's fixtures are a little bit better, but with a goalkeeper, I'm only going to stick with one goalkeeper pretty much up until my first wildcard. Goalkeeper is not a position I want to be making any transfers on, really, so it's just going to be a set and forget until my first wild card, which I'm hoping is going to be pretty late. So by that time, every team has played every team anyway, so it's not like one goalkeeper has a worst first 19 fixtures than another, because they both play all the exact same teams, pretty much, don't they? So that's fine. 4.5 goalkeeper, nice cheap. He will get me plenty of points, everything I need, and I just set and forget, don't touch him for the whole season, well, until my first wild card, then maybe make a switch. And then that's fine, that's all good, and I'm enjoying having that super cheap goalkeeper because that can free up some funds for the rest of the team. And we're going to start off with a fairly expensive defender in Trent Alexander-Arnold. A lot of people have moved off Trent Alexander-Arnold, though he is still the most popular player in the game. But some people thought he would be injured. Obviously, when we saw England play, Trent Alexander-Arnold did come off the bench, so he is match fit. He is going to start, so there's nothing to worry about there. And even though he is quite expensive, I do think he's worth it, just because of him taking sort of free kicks and corners. You'll get so many more points as a defender for goals. Plenty of assists. Liverpool will keep plenty of clean sheets. I do think you have to have something in the Liverpool defence, whether it's Trent Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Van Dijk. But with Trent Alexander-Arnold, I can cover more bases in that Liverpool team. I can cover more goals, I cover more assists. So yeah, I really do like him the best, pretty much out of any player on the game. So he's always going to be first name on my team sheet. Next up is Kyle Walker-Peters. He's new as well. But who has he replaced? He's replaced Vinagre. So yeah, Vinagre has gone just because, well, he's been replaced. Vinagre's been replaced essentially in the Wolves team by their new signing, Marçal, who is sort of transferred in from Lyon. He's a left back, and we're expecting he's going to be playing ahead of Vinagre. And then on top of that, Vinagre is also rumoured to be he's going to be sold to Porto. Porto have put in a bid apparently, and he could be on his way within the next few days. So I don't want to take that risk anymore. He's now got competition for his place. He's now potentially getting sold. I know I've got other areas in my team where I'm taking slight risks. I'd rather my defence just be a bunch of players who I know are going to play, and I'm going to be pretty confident in them every week, and I don't have to worry about them. I don't have to worry about transferring them in the future, and I can concentrate my transfers in the more explosive areas of my team. So Kyle Walker-Peters comes in. That's why McCarthy has been switched to Ryan, because I don't want double Southampton defence. I want one of each, and I really like this combo. Kyle Walker-Peters should be nailed on, playing every single week. Same with Ryan, so it's very easy. Pick up some Southampton clean sheets. And Walker-Peters, he has got plenty of assists in seasons gone by. I think he got sort of 3 assists in 6 games for Spurs the season before last. So he does have that attacking threat there. Perhaps a little bit unlucky to not get more attacking contributions last season for Southampton. But, you know, I'm excited about what he can offer. So we'll move on from there and go to Justin Justin, a lot of people have been a little bit worried about this new Luke Castan. He's sort of signed for Leicester. I think it's Castan. Is that how you pronounce it? I think so. But anyway, yeah, the new Belgium guy who's signed from Atalanta to Leicester. He has been brought in, and he's a right-footed player, and he's a wing-back. But I really strongly think that he's actually been brought in to play at left-back, because he played left-back. He played on the left more last season for Atalanta than he did on the right. So I do think he's going to be the Chilwell replacement. So in terms of right-back, Justin is still going to be the guy until Pereira comes back. Even when Pereira comes back, Justin can cover at left back. He can play sort of at right centre back as well if Leicester was to switch to 5 at the back, which I think they will do at some time. So even after Pereira comes back, I do still think Justin has a decent chance of playing. So I'm happy to have him in my team. I'm not too worried about when Pereira comes back and where Justin might fit in after that, because I do think he's still got a shot, particularly if he impresses in the first game. So I'm not too worried about owning Justin right now, and I do have other defenders on the bench as well to cover me if it all goes wrong, and then if it all goes wrong, I can also just make a transfer. So that's fine, happy with Justin. Moving on to a midfield, and we've got Mo Salah. I know a lot of people are taking Mo Salah out of their team. There's another guy that people are taking out of the team because, you know, Salah has not been performing amazingly in pre-season. He's not been performing amazingly at the end of last season after Liverpool won the title. But what we've got to remember is Liverpool haven't had a game where they really, really have to win for a very long time now. And now that they're starting a fresh new season, they want to go back-to-back titles. There's going to be full motivations. They've just come off the win. They're going to be full flow. Let's dominate the Premier League. Suddenly, all this motivation, all this passion, all this drive that made Liverpool so good in the first place is all going to come back, and that's where we're going to judge it. That's where we will judge how good Liverpool players are. Not on some friendlies that don't really matter after a long, gruelling season. Not on the a few games where everyone was getting rotated. You know, they've already won the league. It didn't really matter if they were performing or not. They were hungover from getting drunk and partying because they won. I'm not going to judge Liverpool players on that, and if you want to, then that's fair enough, but that's not how I want to play it personally. So Salah stays in the team, and he's going absolutely nowhere. Next up, Aubameyang, converted to a midfielder. I think he's in for a really good season, isn't he? Really, and he's been fantastic at the end of last season. Fantastic, scoring in the Community Shield as well. He's going to be the main man at Arsenal. Arsenal, I think, are going to have a much better season than last. I'm really excited to see how they get on. And Aubameyang has got some excellent starting fixtures with Fulham, newly promoted, and West Ham. Were pretty poor defensively last season. So, gonna be really, really interesting having Aubameyang. Maybe can potentially switch Aubameyang to a Man City guy, maybe a Raheem Sterling, probably a Raheem Sterling to be fair, sort of in game week 3 maybe when Arsenal play Liverpool. Although, to be fair, if Aubameyang starts well, I might just keep him. Someone who I'm not going to keep is Heung-min Son. I do really like Heung-min Son as a player, but he is very much a placeholder for Bruno Fernandes. So I've kept 1.5 million in the bank. So game week 2 comes along, I just switch Son to Bruno Fernandes. I've got that Manchester United cover for their really nice run of fixtures at the start of the season. And I can think about adding some more Manchester United players as well. But I know a lot of people will say, well, I don't want to own Son to switch him to Bruno Fernandes because, Son might do really well and then I might want to keep him. Good. I want him to do really well for the first game week. If Bruno Fernandes was starting in game week 1, Son wouldn't be anywhere near my team. So I'm more than happy to collect a nice big haul from Son in game week 1 and then very, very quickly move him on. That's a great thing for me. It's the best possible scenario. So I'm not going to be thinking, oh, maybe I should keep Son after all. I've got a very clear plan. Son he shouldn't be in my team anyway, really. I'll collect the points and move on. And we'll move on to the next player as well. So James Ward-Prowse, I know a lot of you guys will know that I have been on James Ward-Prowse and singing his praises for a pretty long time now. I'm really looking forward to seeing James Ward-Prowse. He's got the set pieces down on lock, as I explained in my set pieces video. I don't know if any of you saw that video. He should be rotating on penalties with Ings. I don't know, potentially Ward-Prowse might even take all the penalties now. Not sure, Ings might get a couple, but Ward-Prowse I think is going to be the main guy. He played every single minute of every game for Southampton last season. He's the most nailed on guy in pretty much the whole Premier League. So really, really comforting to know something like that. And he was really underperforming his stats last season when usually he actually overperforms his stats. So I think a regression to the mean means that he's going to be scoring quite a few points. He's only 6 million. I do think it is worth upgrading, by 0. You might have a 0.5 cheaper midfielder like an Armstrong or a Sam Maximan. Just putting that extra 0.5 in, and you've got a nailed-on player on all the set pieces who is expected to score and assist more than he did last season. I think it's a good move, and a move that I want to make personally. But yeah, it's a little bit of a punt, I guess. His ownership is pretty low as a reflection of that, but I really like him, so he's coming in my team certainly, and I'm really looking forward to Southampton as well. I'm hoping for good things from them. I think they're going to be this season's Leicester potentially, but we'll see. So next up, we're going up front. Timo Werner is the first man on the forward team sheet, I guess. What a player. I mean, his stats are just ridiculous. His service is going to be ridiculous. Think of all of these new Chelsea players that have been signed to play around him, who are just going to be providing him with so many opportunities to score. He started off really well. He's had a really nice pre-season. He scored for Germany as well. And so it's just basically looking really positive for Timo Werner. His second fixture against Liverpool isn't great, but, look at the rest of the fixtures. Brighton first, West Brom game week 3, Crystal Palace game week 4. I think that's pretty nice, to be honest. And if it goes terribly and horribly wrong, I will simply switch him to Martial, and we'll pick up some more expected points from Martial. But for now, Timo Werner, it looks like everything is in place, ready for him to have a really good season if he can quickly adapt to the Premier League, which I think he can. Players coming from the Bundesliga usually adapt to the Premier League far quicker than people coming in from the French League, for example, or even potentially players coming in from the Spanish League. And Werner is really a top quality player, so yeah, he's gonna be good. I think he's gonna be good, and so many people own Timo Werner for a very good reason. We have high hopes for him. So let's move on to Alexander Mitrovic. First game against Arsenal, but after that, Leeds, Aston Villa, which you'd say are quite nice fixtures to be starting off. Fulham in general have quite nice fixtures, sort of running up all the way, sort of the first part of the season. Fulham have really nice fixtures. Mitrovic is a really nice cheap price. He's got Premier League experience. Pretty much it's something like 44, 45, 46% of Fulham goals last season came through Mitrovic. So goals and assists, sort of pretty much, we'll say half for simplicity's sake. Half of Fulham's goals will have a Mitrovic goal or an assist. So when Fulham score, Mitrovic score is basically what I'm trying to say here. So really interesting. If Fulham can get anything out of any games, Mitrovic is going to be the guy on the score sheet. 6 million is just so cheap for a player who is that central to a team. So, it really depends on the performances of Fulham, but Mitrovic looks really good for his price. And then another guy on 6 million is Che Adams. He's probably the riskiest player in my entire lineup, to be honest, and that's sort of reflected by his low ownership. Only 2.4% of players are going for him at the moment. I'm not going to say I'm totally convinced by Adams, but what I will say is that his stats at the end of last season, per minute played, were better than Danny Ings. He had an incredible end to last season. So post-lockdown, when you're talking how many goals per minute, how many expected goals per minute, how many assists per minute expected, Adams was outperforming Ings. The only thing was that Adams wasn't getting as many minutes as Ings. There is a little bit of competition for Adams' place, which is where the risk comes in. But if Adams plays and he continues his form from last season, he's going to be really good value. He's not going to completely cover Danny Ings, but he really could provide something for a really good price there at 6 million. So yeah, it really does depend if he plays. It really does depend. But off the back of the form of last season, you would expect, why would the manager drop him now? He's in such good form. He's sort of scored in the last game of the season. He looks really good. So I'm very happy to own him, and I'm excited to see what he comes up with. But he is my risky guy. So, if you don't want to go for Adams, I will completely not blame you, because, there are safer options to go for. So going on to my bench, and we've got Jed Steer at 4 million. I know probably a lot of you are saying, why not go for Brighton's backup goalkeeper? Just then if Ryan does get injured or something, then you've got that cover. But I'm not really interested in doing that, if I'm honest, purely because if you look at my my first outfield player on my bench, Alzate, he is also Brighton, which means I would have 3 Brighton players, which means if a Brighton player starts performing, say Trossard starts performing really well, Mopé starts performing really well, something like that, I'd then be stuck and I'd have to transfer out either a 4 million goalkeeper or a 4.5 million midfielder, which is something I don't want to do. That's a real waste of transfer. So I'd rather go for Jed Steer there. He's expected to be the starting goalkeeper going into the season for Aston Villa. Obviously, Tom Heaton is injured right now, and Steer is kind of the backup goalkeeper. He didn't really play last season because he got injured as soon as he had the opportunity to play. But Jed Steer is the backup keeper for Aston Villa, or so I'm being told by Aston Villa fans. So yeah, so he's going to be picking up points, but you know, he's only a backup anyway. He's only there for an emergency. Yeah, as I was talking about, Alzate is the 4.5 million midfielder I'm going for, and it's a bit of a punt, I think. But the Brighton fans really seem to rate Alzate. He's been playing a little bit in pre-season. He's been playing the central midfield in the right midfield position as well. He's an attacking midfielder, I guess, naturally, but he has played up front as well. He's played as a striker. He's played pretty much in all kinds of positions. So, yeah, they really rate him. He's only 21 years old. I think he's Colombian or something like that. And he's sort of a young guy with a lot of talent who was unlucky not to play much last season, but he did get a few injuries, so he wasn't able to play. But he did play for part of the season, and he looks good, but didn't really have any end product. So if he can add end product to his game, I think he could be a bit of a diamond in the rough. You know, you talk about trying to find the next super bargain player, the next Todd Cantwell or something like that, the next Lundstrom. You know, Alzate is the kind of guy who might fit that criteria, so that's why I'm going for him. So we'll see what happens there. Looks a bit of a random one, but I think out of the 4.5 million midfielders, he looks probably one of the guys who could have a breakthrough season, I would say. So yeah, I'm going to put my faith in him. Number 2, Ayling. Ayling's going to rotate with Kyle Walker-Peters and Justin throughout the season. Ferguson is staying on my bench. I don't need him. I literally don't need him until game week 5 or 6 anyway. So I may as well just keep him. Even though he's injured, and then by the time he is ready to play, he will go straight into my team in, like I say, game week 5 or game week 6, where Crystal Palace's fixtures start to look really good. It'll be perfect timing. So when everyone else is trying to make the transfer to bring Ferguson in, I'll already have him. So really nothing to worry about there. I don't need Ferguson for now. He's just going to sit there on the bench until he's fit and ready to play, and then he'll start coming on. So yeah, that is my team. So we are going to have a look at the captain. My captain selection, as things stand, it'll probably stay this way now, is Aubameyang, with Salah the vice captain. So Aubameyang, I am going to talk about captains for this game week 1 in more detail in a video very soon. So please do subscribe if you fancy watching that. But yes, Aubameyang is going to be the captain. I'll explain fully why, but I think he looks like the better option than Salah and sort of Werner. I like Aubameyang the most, but I don't think there's one right answer. I don't think there is. I think Werner is also good. I think Salah is also good. Potentially even I could go for Son, but I probably would never really consider that. So, but Aubameyang, looking at the stats and sort of what I could expect, Aubameyang looks he's going to have a good game against Fulham, I think. But we'll talk about that very soon. Yeah, so that is my team. That is how I'm lining up for game week 1 as things stand. I'll do one more update on Friday if there's any final changes to this team. So please do subscribe. Please do stick around if you want to see that. If you want to see that, yeah, we'll be doing that soon. If you want to like the video, please do. It really helps. If you do, so just take a second to do that. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, if you want to support me on Patreon, everything is in the description. As I say, the FPL shirts, if you want to get a nice little t-shirt with FPL slogans and imagery on, that's in the description as well. So just go check out everything in the description. Go on, there's loads in there. Plenty more videos on my channel if you want to watch them. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later, mates. Bye-bye.